If I could go back to being 20 again and start these habits then, my oh my, how I believe my life would be different. I want to talk to you about the habits that I wish I would have started at 20. So if you know a 20-year-old, if you know a young buck, share this with them so that if you're giving them advice and they're not listening to it, maybe some stranger like me can help them move a needle forward so that when they get to my age in my 40s, not regret looking back and wishing they had started back then. If you don't know me, my name is Brianna. I am first and foremost a licensed clinical psychotherapist. I've been in the field for over 20 years. But I'm way more than that. I'm a multifaceted mentor, a speaker, an author, and now I'm a daily YouTuber who wants to share just my own life experiences, tips, and tricks to really help you reinvent yourself. Be okay reinventing in your 40s, being okay inventing in the second half of your life. So, if I could go back to my 20s, the first thing that I would do was I would start investing and maxing out my Roth IRA. Yep. If you didn't watch my video yesterday about paying off $197,000 worth of debt, you will learn how valuable it is to max out your Roth IRA. And that would be the first thing I would focus on. Whatever with my 401k, whatever with Bitcoin, whatever with all these other things happening in our 20s that are shiny objects going on, get as much money as you can into your Roth so that you max it out year to year, because that is exponentially going to grow faster and faster and faster. So, a habit I wish I started in my 20s was actually learning about investing and maxing out that Roth IRA. As far as financially, I would also avoid getting into debt. I would take a couple of courses on financial literacy and financial responsibility and really look at how to be in right standing relationship with money so that I'm only spending what I have, not what I hope to have or hope to earn. So that's number one. That is number one on my list, being that where I'm at financially right now, I would never want this for younger Brianna. Number two is I would spend less money on things and more time saving for traveling and traveling. So I would spend less money on clothes, on the outfits to go out for the weekend. I would spend less money on booze. I would spend less money on going out to clubs. I would spend less money going out to eat. And I would put all of that aside so that I could have traveled more. Now, that being said, I've been to a lot of countries. I've been up and down the Caribbean. I've been all over the United States. So I've traveled a good bit. However, had I been more wise with my vision for how I wanted to experience life, I would have saved up more money and spent less money on things so that I could have stamped my passport 100 more times than I did. I would also, within the spending less money and more traveling, have done more solo traveling on my own. I did a lot more of that when I got into my 30s, but I feel like had I done that in my 20s, it really just would have built my character more and would have opened my eyes to the possibilities of what life could look like outside of America. So that's a big one that I wish I would have focused on more, and a habit that I would have started sooner. Number three is to not be a people pleaser. I would have stopped being a people pleaser early on and putting my value in other people's opinion or expectations of me. And I would really be grounded in who I am and know that my worth is my worth and that it doesn't change. So, how would I have done that? I would have recognized that no matter how happy I try to make other people, that if it's at the expense of my own happiness and my own joy and my own peace, then it is going to cost me way too much. So, if you're 20, hit rewind and listen to that last part again. because your emotions and your needs and your desires are actually important, and you don't have to push those aside to make sure that other people's needs, emotions, and wants become more important than yours. So there's that. The next one that I wish I would have started in my 20s was doing something like this. Had I had more confidence, and I'm itching my head because I'm getting so annoyed with the fact of how often I say and it's something that I'm trying to work on in this relationship with you and speaking to camera, which is not using these stupid filler words to hold space. I can talk slower, I'm allowed to get quiet and think, and the is driving me nuts. So, I would post videos. I would start telling stories. I would start to share things that were going on in my life at the time that they were happening because I had a lot of really cool things to share. But I grew up in the beginning stages of social media. I was the MySpace Facebooker. Instagram wasn't really alive yet. There we go again. Instagram wasn't really alive yet. That didn't really happen until I was maybe in my mid 20s. So that was just a new avenue. I really wish that I had had a habit of learning how to story tell on social media because, wow, I would have been really good at it and maybe created something amazing from all of the years of storytelling. So if you're in your 20s, start storytelling, start a YouTube channel, start sharing what you're going through, your thoughts, your experiences. You have a story to tell no matter how young you are. There's something important, and God gave you a voice to use it for a reason. I would also have had a habit of focusing on myself and my growth, not on getting married. And I know way too many 20-year-olds and early 30-year-olds who are obsessed with getting married and having babies. I wanted to build a habit of focusing on myself if I could go back and do it again, so that I would be much more grounded in my own identity. I would be much more grounded in a sense of purpose. And I would have maybe done some things and failed and become more of an expert at exploring and testing boundaries and challenging myself, which would tell me that I could handle things that may be more uncomfortable. Whereas I had to learn that in the late stages of life, in my late 30s, early 40s. And let's be honest, as we get older, it gets really hard to build new habits. It gets hard to be different from what you've been used to for 40 years. So I would definitely focus on myself more. Another habit that I wish I had started in my 20s is learning a trade: welding, plumbing, electrician stuff, automotive. I feel like in my 40s, that is something I'm going to do. I'm going to learn a trade. I'm not sure yet. I think maybe doing like electrician school or something would be cool, especially because we bought a house where all of our electric, they're all wired wrong. They're all cross-wired and they're all over the place. So, we can't turn anything on from our light switches, and there's a lot to fix. So that would kind of be cool to say that I was able to do that. So, yeah, I would learn a trade. I would learn a trade because no matter what, it's something that you can always fall back on, and you're not working for corporate America. You can build your own business off of a trade. You can work for somebody else off of a trade. So trades have a lot of possibility and potential. Another habit that I wish I would have started in my 20s was slowing down. I really felt like I was in a hurry to get to the next thing, to finish my hours so that I could get my license, finish my license so I could start my private practice, finish, get into my private practice so that I could get married so that I could check the next box and check the next box and check the next box. I would want more, 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 more. I wish that I would have enjoyed the moments that I had instead of wishing for the next moment. So I really encourage you in your 20s. Time doesn't stop, but you can stop to enjoy it. And it's okay to not be in a hurry. There is nothing wrong with being 43 years old or 42 years old and getting married and having children. Actually, it's been a great experience for me because of all the wisdom that I got to glean and pour into these bigger commitments and relationships. So slow down, take your time, enjoy your life. There's no rush. There really is no rush. You're never behind. You're always on time, and there's always more time. Actually, I take that second part back. There isn't always more time, but there is the time you have. So enjoy it, but don't rush it. That's what I mean by that. Enjoy it, don't rush it. The last habit that I would create in my 20s is I would have drank way less. Number one, do you know how much money I would have saved not going to bars and not drinking? Because I never really drank at home. I wasn't one of those like sit at home and drink a glass of wine. When I would go out, I would drink and I would buy my own drinks. I wasted way too much money doing that. That was just such a dumb way to invest money that I was working really hard for. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Stop drinking. Put that money if you here is my challenge for you. Go 6 months without drinking. Put the money that you would be spending on drinking into a jar. See how much you save. Go on a trip with that money because I'm telling you, it's going to be a good bit. It's going to be a good bit. Alcohol, you do not need alcohol to socialize. You do not need alcohol to have fun. You do not need alcohol to feel at peace. You do not need alcohol to rest your mind. You need therapy, my friend. You need some meditation. You need some prayer. You need some Jesus in your life, whatever it may be. But drinking less, that would be a big habit that I would have done. I also did a little bit of drugs, but I got over that very quickly. So I don't regret it. It was a great learning lesson, but thank God I didn't build a habit around it. Now, I just want to talk about habits I started in my 20s. And I started thinking, well, what are the habits that I developed in my 20s that have helped me in my 40s? The first and foremost would be a healthy lifestyle. I have always been healthy, meaning choosing healthy foods, whole foods, clean foods, working out. So, having a healthy lifestyle has really helped my body with navigating both like perimenopause, this chronic illness. It also just helps with I've got a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. I can still sprint down a field and I'm not like, oh my God, my back. Oh my gosh, my nose itches. Oh my God, my hamstring. No, I'm still in great shape. I'm going to race my 5-year-old until I'm in a cane. So having those healthy habits in my 20s has allowed me to still feel young, agile, able, and energetic to manage 2 toddlers. It is tiring, but I can still do it. Oh, so I encourage you, create some sort of healthy habits. Doesn't matter what it is. Stretching, mobility is important, lifting weights, heavy weights. Running, I would encourage you to be careful with because of how bad it is on your knees after a long time, but that's just my opinion. Another habit that I started in my 20s that I continue to this day is a great skincare routine. Make sure you're taking care of your face. Don't be using Dove soap on your face. Don't be using, I don't know, whatever the don't be buying Target based facial creams, okay? You need to get yourself some good facial creams. Spend the money on that and not alcohol. I promise you, it will do you well. I am always confused with somebody in their early 30s, and I'm going to take it until I die because I take really good care of my skin. I do my own facials right now, obviously, because as I shared, I'm saving money. But I used to get facials weekly, bi-weekly. Micro uh, Microneedling is great to bring the rejuvenation of the skin and just a healthy cleanser, good cleanser for your face, and good facial cream. So, a good skincare routine is important. So, start that now. Drinking lots of water and going to bed early. Coffee, you actually really don't need it. I don't drink coffee, never have. Don't drink caffeine. I drink a lot of water. I am fully hydrated all of the time. And my bladder and the amount of times I go pee in a day is what proves it. So I drink a lot of water and I go to bed. Obviously, it's late. It's 10 o'clock. I don't like being up this late. I like being in bed by about 9. Man alive, I got dog hairs in my nose today. Um, I like being in bed early. That sleep and that water is so good for you. It's so good for your rest and digest. It's so good for your heart rate. It's so good for your nervous system. So drink lots of water and get lots of sleep. The other habit that I know has helped me into my 40s, I started in my 20s, was a community. It's nice to, rely on yourself. It's nice to do things on your own, but it's very important to have community. So make sure that no matter where you're at in life, no matter where your friends are, they could be close to you or far away from you, having community is important because you need a body of people to lean on when things get tough, and things will get tough. So this is a quicker video, a shorter video, but I just wanted to share some habits that I wish I would have started and the habits that I know that have helped carry me thus far. So drop in the comments any habits that you wish that you would have started in your 20s, and maybe a habit that you started in your 20s that you see as being helpful to you in your later years of life. And we'll see you on the flip side. Bye.